Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about Obama's pick for Supreme Court Justice. Now, we've heard the criticisms that she basically said that she's more qualified, and I'm paraphrasing, that she's more qualified because she's a Hispanic woman. She's more qualified than a white man for that position. And of course, I consider it racism. I consider it reverse racism and reverse discrimination. All forms of racism are wrong. But that's not what I want to talk about, though. What I want to talk about is what the Republicans should do. The Republicans in the past have allowed Clinton, previous Democratic president, the right, to appoint Stephen Breyer and Ruth Bader Ginsburg to the Supreme Court without any contest. When Bush got in there, when W got in there and appointed Roberts and appointed Alito, the Democrats were threatening filibusters. They were putting them through litmus tests, and luckily enough people voted for their confirmation to where it was not a problem in the end. But there was still the give 'em hell boys attitude amongst the Democratic Party, and many appellate courts and many federal district courts were left vacant because Bush wasn't able to appoint justices to those inferior courts. And so the attitude needs to be the same with the Republican Party. The Republican Party needs to do the exact same thing and give them hell. And the Republican Party needs to give this new Justice Sotomayor a litmus test and ask her the tough questions as well. And the Republicans need to put up a fight, and if they don't like her, they need to threaten a filibuster. They need to pull out the same stops. The Republican Party has been too nice in the past, and the Republican Party needs to become more aggressive. And I know with the Democrats have already said that she deserves an up or down vote. Boy, does that sound familiar, because that's exactly what Bush wanted for his appointees, but the Democrats gave him hell. And so we basically need to do the same, not necessarily because it's right to do it, but it will prove a point. And so the Republicans do not need to play nice. And that is a problem with the Republican Party, is that they do play nice. And the scary thing about the Republican Party now is that some of them want to pander to the center-left crowd up in New England and over in California, and they don't need to do that, because it's them doing things, it's them becoming fiscally liberal, and it's them being wimps, which is what caused conservatives to stay home in 2006 and in 2008, and which caused the other party to win. This judge does not need to have an easy sail through the Senate confirmation hearings. This judge needs to once again be given as much hell and as much litmus test as necessary. And if Obama doesn't like it, if the Democrats don't like it, too bad. More than likely, I believe that she will be appointed. I don't believe that. I believe that. I hope that the Republicans will put up a fight. But in the end, I do believe that she will be appointed. I don't think there will be enough votes to stop it from taking place. And also, I think that the Republicans will let the president pick whoever he wants to pick. But this really needs to be taught, and people need to understand this. Let me make sure I didn't wake anybody up. This needs to be taught, and this needs to be understood amongst Americans. Americans need to understand that the Supreme Court was never assigned to be a legislative body, and that's what they've become. And if we don't stop that from taking place, and if we keep on allowing it to happen, why do we need Congress? That's Congress's job. Also, we don't need the court to usurp more power than what is necessary. The Founding Fathers even warned against a Supreme Court that would usurp more and more power like a thief in the night. I forgot which Founding Father it was. It was either Jefferson or Hamilton that said it. But then the courts have usurped more power, and they have not just simply declared what is constitutional and what is not. They are basically telling people what they can and can't do, telling states what they can and can't do, and the whole 9 yards. It's one thing when Congress begins meddling in the affairs of the people. At least they can be voted out, but the courts can't. These people are appointed for life, even though nowhere it says that they are to be appointed for life. The Constitution actually says that they are to be appointed based upon good behavior. The scary thing is that we've just allowed them to usurp more and more power, and we just need to put a stop to it. And I was going to say something, I just forgot what it was, so that's why I'm beginning to stumble over my words. But the Supreme Court this is what I was going to say, that the Supreme Court was never supposed to have final arbitration over what the Constitution meant either. This is why it's important for the Supreme Court justices to go back in history and find out what the Founding Fathers originally intended by these amendments. Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, well, how are we supposed to know what they mean? How are we supposed to know what the Founding Fathers truly believed? Well, here's an idea, Justice Ginsburg, and here's an idea for the rest of you in government, and here's an idea for the rest of you in America. Get off your lazy butt, go down to the library, look at primary sources, read original writings, read original quotes from these Founding Fathers, and you'll easily be able to tell what they originally intended by a particular amendment. And so you can go back. There's proof. The evidence is there of what the original intent to each amendment was in the Bill of Rights, and also in the additional amendments by those who passed them during that particular time period. There is a way to check that stuff out. So just go back and do the research. It is important that we stick to original intent, that the argument of the Constitution being a living, breathing document is halfway true. It is if you go through a proper amendment process, but if you don't go through a proper amendment process, then you stick to original intent of what a particular amendment means. And the only way the Constitution changes is if there's amendments added or taken away from it. But you go through a process of making that happen, but you don't change the definition of the First Amendment. You don't change the definition of the Second Amendment. You don't change the definition of the 10th Amendment or of the 14th Amendment or whatever else. You keep the amendments as they were originally intended, because doing so otherwise would cause a runaway government and would basically be doing the same